we started an engagement with How to SaaS. It was probably early 2020. I met with Shiv and team, and I was really intrigued with what they could do to kind of tighten our demand gen and scale our demand gen. So I thought I would give them a great challenge, and I would say, you know, we've got a bunch of different product lines. I thought, here's a product line that we think is in pretty good shape. I'm going to throw it to them and see, well, what can they do with that? Because there's other product lines where we were kind of struggling from a demand gen perspective. So we gave them what I thought was the ultimate test, and they just crushed it. They did a really nice job. The approach is something I really liked. They dug in, they looked at our data, and they went a little deeper than what we had been doing. So an example would be on paid search. So again, we would pat ourselves on the back saying paid search is great, and it was working really well, but it was the How to SaaS team that said, yes, but if you remove this particular campaign and double down on this campaign, it can work even better. And so, you know, they just got a little more granular than we had been getting. They brought that expertise, they brought that to us, and you know, it's just been fantastic. You know, another thing that I'll share, I like the way they run meetings. I like the way they work with customers. So I've been on a lot of calls where I feel like I need to repeat myself. Like, hey, we talked about that before. Every call with How to SaaS, I feel like they've read everything and discussed everything we talked about on a previous call. There's no refreshing everyone's memory, and there's not a lot of boring 5 minutes at the beginning. You know, they just get right to it and they say, okay, based on what we talked about last week, we've done this analysis, and here's what I think we should do because of A, B, and C. And we would say, like, awesome, that's great. So it's that style too that we found really refreshing. I'm really proud of the marketing team we have. I think it's, you know, I'm honored to work with some really, really talented, cool, hardworking, collaborative people. And when I said, hey, what do you guys think about working with How to SaaS? These guys are all about demand gen and scaling demand gen. I sensed a little like, oh, you don't think we're doing a good job? Kind of air. And I said, hey, if they can help us get more SQLs and SQLs at a lower rate, you know, I think it's worth it. And so they were, you know, super supportive. And I think instantly there was that credibility that they observed from the How to SaaS team. Like, these guys know what they're talking about. They've dug into our business. And so, you know, what was just a 2-second of like, why are we gonna go get more help when we think we're doing well? You know, that dissolved really quickly. Everyone wants more leads, right? Everyone wants more of the better leads. So we look at our SQLs and we look at our wins. And so while we were continuously patting ourselves on the back of all the great things we were doing, we thought, you know, what else could we be doing? And so one thing I thought was really cool about How to SaaS is they looked at everything we were doing and they said, okay, here are the 20 things you're doing. You know, 1 through 18, great. Let's not even talk about that. These 2 little things down here, I think if you make some changes, you could have a material impact on the quality of your leads and then more wins. So I told my team, hey, let's get after this stuff. These guys come highly regarded. So we executed on it rather quickly. And then it was really fun to see the results. So in one of our product line, we saw MQLs go up by like 213%. We saw our cost per opportunity go down by like 45%. We saw organic traffic go up to the tune of 17, 18%. So all the right metrics were happening, and it was happening, you know, it happened really quickly. So we were really pleased with that. I would say it wasn't so much finding new channels, but optimizing the channels we were using. So paid search is an example, SEO is an example. Like with the How to SaaS team did a great job of looking at our content, looking at our SEO. And again, I like their approach. They said, this stuff you're doing great. Let's not reinvent the wheel here. But there's some technical SEO here. There's an opportunity to steal some search traffic if you develop these keywords, and that was really impressive. They did. I would say we were already very interested in more peer review sites and working with those, and they nudged us further along and maybe accelerated that too. So that would be an area where I thought, yeah, I would say they nudged us. I'm really proud of our marketing team and the measurement engine, the demand gen engine we've built and the measurement that goes with that. Everything we do, we measure like crazy because we hate wasting money on stupid things in marketing for sort of branding, but that just don't bring in any leads. So we're measuring like crazy because if this tactic can engage with the market and can bring us more qualified leads, we want to do more of that. So yeah, we now, especially on the paid search side, with the level of granularity that How to SaaS exposed to us, that's kind of now our benchmark. So we refer to it as the How to SaaS spreadsheet that we have on a network location. You know, let's pop our data in there and make sure we're looking at all of those. And just because you run a campaign and you get sales qualified leads, well, what happens to those? Do you lose a lot of them? Do you lose all of them? Do you win most of them? And then How to SaaS did a really nice job of saying, well, in this vertical, you get a lot of SQLs, but you don't win many. Or in this geography, you don't get many SQLs, but everyone you get, you seem to win. And we just hadn't gone that deep. I mean, a generation ago, marketing was a lot of creatives, right? And now marketing is creatives and analysts. And it's, you know, the great marketers are super creative and super analytical, I think. And I feel proud going to my CFO and saying, here's why I need more budget, because I've got all sorts of data behind me. And I'm really transparent saying, this bombed, this was terrible, we're not gonna do it again. But this went really well. And I think with more investment, I'm committed to delivering more, you know, pipeline for the business and more wins for the business. So, you know, How to SaaS has really helped us with that. So we've meshed really well, even from a value standpoint, you know, like that's how we believe marketing should function in an organization, especially an organization with exciting growth goals. You know, we believe marketing should be held accountable that way. It got to the point toward the end of last year where when we were looking at monthly data where we thought we had done well, or we knew we had done well, the question now is, okay, if we added investment there, could we really double? If we 2x our investment, can we 2-3x our return? And we just got to the point where we thought, let's just run it by those guys and gut check. So not huge projects, but here's how we're seeing the data. What do you guys think? And so when we were doing well, and if we could invest more to get a better return, we thought about checking in with How to SaaS. And then in other cases where, you know, man, we tried everything, we pulled out all the stops and we just couldn't get the funnel to where we thought it needed to be to support the business. And we looked at each other and said, well, let's call How to SaaS and see if they can look at this and maybe we're missing something. So again, whether we were succeeding or kind of not succeeding, we started to develop this mindset of, well, let's get that outside view because, you know, we're in it all day, every day. And so then I talked to Shiv and I said, you know, could you guys be on a retainer so that we could send you things throughout the week, throughout the month. And so far it's worked beautifully. The advice I would give is kind of no matter where you are in your journey, if you're just kind of starting out and you've got, you know, a marketing team of 1.5 or a marketing team of 3, and you're doing a couple fundamentals well, and you're thinking about adding more things to engage with your customers and your product and your prospects or your channel, you know, that it can be good to get a fresh set of eyes on things and maybe help you figure out how to grow your function. Or if you are further along on your journey and you think you've got a lot of things figured out, don't have that big of an ego that, you know, you've got it all figured out. My advice is, no matter where you are on that journey, it's really good to get someone else's perspective. And maybe they'll say, hey, you guys are golden, I wouldn't change a thing. Okay, well, at least you know, but they won't. But more than likely, you know, they'll find some zingers for you. And, you know, we're all looking to make the best use of our time and our budget. So, you know, it's cliche, but, you know, we've got a good sized team. And if we all work 40 or 50 hours a week, there's a lot we can do if we're focused. But if we're spending time and money on things that aren't generating results, that's a shame. That's just a shame.